What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Gobbler Effect, Season 2, Episode number 20 here on the Virginia Tech Hockey Network, sponsored by the Beach House Bar and Grill. My name is Chris Peters, happy to be back with you for another episode, joined today once again by head coach of the Hokies, Joey Mullen, as well as forward Matt Veneri. Guys, how are we both doing today?
Doing well. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Inclement weather in Blacksburg, but so staying warm, it's pretty good.
Well, get used to that cold weather as we got regionals coming up in a couple of days. Got the ice rink nice and cold, perfect hockey weather coming up. But we are again last weekend we already talked about, the expectations and get a little season wrap up. But this is the week. Make it or break it. It's the regionals coming up. Five seed. Don't know who we're gonna play. We'll find that out Friday night. But I just want to get, your twos for initial thoughts on this weekend, what to expect or, anything along those lines.
I think the cool thing with this group is they don't know what to expect. None of them have been here. So kind of playing a little bit with house money. So just going there and playing some hockey games. I've been there a few times. I know what it's going to take. So hopefully we've got these guys ready. We'll get a skate Friday morning and we'll find out who we play that night and got the bright and early 10:30 a.m. Saturday morning game.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, like Coach said, a lot of variables in play, right? Got a long bus ride, late bus ride. Got some weather tomorrow as well. Don't know who we're playing. Um, and so I think that's sort of been on par with the team this season, right? We've done a lot of stuff we haven't done before, especially as a senior having that perspective. Like we're doing a lot of new things, which is really building our, mission readiness. So I know that we'll be ready for pretty much any variable or unexpected, uh, circumstance that comes our way, which is great.
Well, Matt, as Coach mentioned, this is the first time anybody on this team has been to regional. And it's been that long. What are, your expectations as a player, being on this team for 4 years, believing that, you guys could make it all the way. And now you've gotten to this point, what is the team's message and motto heading into this weekend?
Right. So it's pretty unique. I don't think this team is incredibly talented, but I think in like my past 3 years, we've also had teams that I've been on who have been incredibly talented. I think one thing we did new this year that has really been the driver for our success has been like identifying goals and sticking with them. So I remember pretty much like when the team got picked, we said we were going to go to the national tournament, national championships in St. Louis. And we stuck by that every week of practice and every weekend of games. Um, and so because of that, because of our um, pursuit of that, that's a pretty lofty goal, right? Like team gets chosen early September and you're saying, okay, well, in spring break, we're going to be playing the best teams in the ACHA in the nation. That's a lofty goal, but um, you know, you by aiming for lofty goals, you're going to end up somewhere good because you're either going to miss them and still end up high, or you're going to hit them. And so I think that perseverance and pursuit of identified goals has really been, why we're able to play in regionals and why I think we're going to play in nationals too.
I mean, and talking about perseverance, overcoming the challenges of, us upcoming weekend, you guys had a little. Well, due to Mother Nature, you guys had some practice, cancellations, not really staying on par with your schedules leading up to, this weekend. What are you guys planning to do, to resolve that? Are you guys going to stick to your game plan? Do you have any fear that, there could be a chance that those mixed practices could be a factor in those upcoming games this weekend?
So I expect that we will stick to what we know works, which has been the gameplay that we played in the ACCHL playoffs. That has allowed us to win over 20 games in the regular season, especially with, injuries here and there, exams coming up, long bus ride, uh, canceled practices. I definitely don't think that this would be the ideal time to start adding in new stuff. And pretty much any unit that works together, whether it's a team or like whether it's a sports team or a team in your office. Um, One of the things that's going to drive success is your ability to follow, like your doctrinal play and what you practice. And so I think that we need to be even more so honed in on what we've done in the past, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And as I mentioned, and we mentioned in the past, you guys are going up against now these, more competitive teams in the sense of, these aren't just, your regular ACCHL, Maryland, Rider, James Madison, those kind of teams that you've been, playing so well against so far this season. You're now playing against teams who are now on the same level as you say NC State or Penn State, who've, given you a hard time this season. What is it going to take to, overcome that hump to, I mean, you've had the experience so far. What is it going to take from what you've learned so far to, overcome and come out this weekend and possibly go to nationals?
Right. So, like I previously mentioned, right, like we stick to what we know is right, but what's going to bring us there is going to be intense buy-in from the 33 people on our team. Um, you know, First line to fourth line, first D man to seventh D man, power play unit, penalty killer, a scratch, like whoever you are, um, we're going to be invested in this at a level that uh, like we have never been in the past 4 years is what I expect. As far as our outlook on the competition we're playing, we earned our spot not only to play in this tournament, but to get a first round bye. And so did those other 14 teams. Everybody earned their spot to be here or to be there at Indiana. And so we're going to play with respect for our opponents, knowing that they earn their spot here. Um, but the we're going to have the confidence in ourselves and knowing that we're playing for something big because we've done something big. That's what I expect our outlook to be like this weekend.
Coach, I know you've mentioned many times during the season that, you kind of let the players do their own thing, and really drive the way they've been playing this season. But, from your perspective, a coaching perspective, how do you plan on, managing these guys and, and the opponents coming up and make sure they're staying on track?
I guess a lot of it will be who we play Saturday. So that's going to be dependent. I've seen enough video on potential matchups this week and last week to get a pretty good grasp on what a lot of different teams like to run in certain situations. We'll watch them all Friday. I figure halfway through the day you'll kind of get a good guess at where you're going to end up playing. I mean, these tournaments are wild because it's one and done. Um, so many different crazy things can happen. I've seen it before where the 14 seed upsets the 7 seed. Like it mimics kind of a miniature March Madness, like the first weekend of college basketball. It's pretty cool. A lot of teams, a lot of different circumstances. It's like some guys come in early, sometimes they come in right on time. So you don't really know. I'm sure this time of year is busy for every school with academics. So some guys could miss and not be able to make it. I've seen it happen before. We just got to show up ready, play our game, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, we'll reach our final question, but as you said, it's going to be a make or break weekend for the Hokies. It's either, play on Sunday and win and go to nationals or have your season be ended and, cut short. So my question is to you guys, what is it going to take for the Virginia Tech Hokies to make it to nationals for the first time in almost 13 seasons?
Um, so I mean, like quite literally, 2 games, winning 2 games. But of course, like there's more to that. A full 120 minutes of ice hockey. Um, I've seen over many years with our team. I've seen it less this year, where in the past, like we've played a lot of really good games if they were 50 minutes long or 45 minutes long. Um, but that last 6 inches, really can do can do damage. I mean, we were on the other side of the coin, right? In the ACC playoffs against Ryder. Um, so there's a saying that the Army uses, right, where the first and last 30 days of any operation are the most dangerous, um, because people are either new or they're leaving. And so, right, not forgetting about that first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes is going to be key and something specifically like in the past that we need to remedy. So I'd say a full 120 minutes of hockey, and the standard things, right? Discipline, um, taking care of ourselves before we get there, right? If you can take care of the little things like rescheduling, any academic exams, taking care of your body so you're not sick, um, PTing yourself so you're fully stretched out. If you can take care of the little things, the big things take care of themselves. So that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take two gutsy performances. I think typically in this time of the year, you don't see the 8-9-1 games. Like they're 1 goal games, overtime games, gritty, dirty, nasty games. Like they're fun to play in. Like that's for sure. If you're a player, like this is the type of game it's fun. Like everybody's always like, oh yeah, you blow everybody out 10-1. It's gotta be awesome. It is, but it's boring. Like the 2-1 games are the fun games. So we just got to come ready, show it from the puck drop. Like can't take any time off, like Matt said. Like it's got to be a full 60 minutes both games. And I don't think we have to go in there worrying about Sunday. We go in there worry about Saturday and let Sunday be what it is, and we'll worry about Sunday if we get to it.
Well, we'll see what happens this upcoming weekend. That'll do it for episode number 20 of the Gobbler Effect, sponsored by the Beach House Bar and Grill here on the Virginia Tech Hockey Network. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe on the channel here, as well as click on the notification bell and for live stream and content updates this season. Coach Mullen, Matt, thank you both for joining us. Playoff season continues as the Hokies venture out west to Evansville, Indiana for the ACHA Southeast Regionals. We'll see you next week here on the Virginia Tech Hockey Network for another episode of the Gobbler Effect. But until next time, go Hokies.